All right, welcome to video 3, which is really all about preparing for your speech and picking the right topic. So let's start off with prepping. First is, how do you decide what you might be talking about, right? So the very first step to preparing is to think about that in terms of topics. And so the most important thing, of course, which we learned about in the last video, was to think about your audience. Who's in the audience? What are their demographics? What is their education level? What are they likely to be interested in? What are their majors? What are things that that might be in their inbox that they're most interested in potentially? And of course, you don't know these kind of psychological factors in terms of their interests and their attitudes, but you got to think a little bit about that. And so the other thing about that is not only what are they interested in and passionate about, but you've got to think about yourself, right? So thinking about what you're interested in. One of the most nerve-wracking parts about giving a speech is not picking a topic that you're interested in. But even before that, one of the most challenging things is to even pick a topic in the first place. So your first speech that you're going to give in here, that's an easy one. It's all about you. So the topic has already been chosen for you. But your informative speech and your persuasive speech, that topic selection is completely up to you. So think about the audience, think about yourself, and think about what's going to benefit the audience. What are they likely, for instance, in an informative speech, if you tell me your topic and I say, that's interesting. Or if you have a topic idea and you go tell a couple of your friends and they say, really? Cool, interesting. Then you know you're on your way to finding a good topic. So that's the first step, is think about the audience and then think about something that you're interested in and passionate about. Now that's the first step. That doesn't mean, if you're passionate about something, it doesn't mean the audience is going to be. So that's where the audience analysis and audience adaptation comes in, is to be able to get them interested in what you're talking about, right? You're here with your interest level. They're here. So how do you bring them together on that topic and help them to be interested in it and how it's going to benefit them? Once you've got a topic idea, start off really broad and then try to break it down from there, right? The more specific, the better. And so if you want to focus on ice cream, that's good, but that's pretty broad. So maybe the next step should then be, what specifically about ice cream do you want to focus on? I had a student a year ago that did a speech on ice cream, but she was interested in what makes ice cream taste good. Are there differentiating factors in ice cream? And she got really scientific about it, and she focused on basically the rate at which ice cream melts. That was her main focal point in terms of the difference in different kinds of ice cream. If you have ice cream that melts really fast, you know they add a lot of air to the ice cream, and so it's not going to be as good of a quality. So if you go to Jenny's ice cream and leave the ice cream out, it's not going to melt for a while because you know that it's pretty pure ice cream and that it's going to be the best quality, right? Whereas if you go get ice cream from McDonald's, it doesn't last very long, right? So again, very broad topic of ice cream, but she was focused on the science of what makes it taste good, right? So the more narrow you can get, the better. And so you always want to start with your general purpose of the speech. The general purpose is either going to be to inform, to persuade, or to entertain. And so for the second speech you're going to give, it's about informing. The last speech is going to be about persuading, so those are pretty much given to you. And then beyond that, you want to get into the specific purpose of the speech. And the specific purpose is essentially a one-sentence declaration of what you want the audience to be able to do by the end of your speech. And so you want to make that as specific as possible, and you want to make it behavioral, right? In other words, if you were to poll every member of the audience as they were leaving, would they be able to answer a particular question, right? Would they be able to explain something? Would they be able to demonstrate something? So in other words, you don't want your specific purpose to be, I want my audience to know, because you really can't see that, but you could say, I want them to be able to explain what makes ice cream taste so good, or whatever it is, right? Explain the two factors that go into ice cream quality, or whatever it is. Explain the 3 most important steps to selecting the right pillow to make sure you can sleep at night, whatever it is, right? So again, that specific purpose needs to be concrete, behavioral, and observable. And then the beautiful thing about the specific purpose of a speech is that then every single thing that you're talking about points back to that, right? So the next step is then to generate your main ideas. Come up with 3 main points, right? You got your topic, come up with 3 main points, and when you're trying to decide what to include or not include, ask yourself, does this help me fulfill my specific purpose? will it help the audience be able to do XYZ, whatever the purpose is that you've already identified? So again, that specific purpose becomes your compass. And then after that, you come up with your thesis statement and those types of things. So again, when we think about topics, one of the best ways to deal with your speech anxiety is to find something that you're interested in and that's going to benefit the audience. I mentioned that in the last video with audience. And so it's a really nice thing. It helps you stay organized, gives you something passionate to speak about, that you're passionate about, and then it can also help manage your anxiety as well. And then it's a matter of organizing, kind of putting things together. So again, one of the biggest producers of anxiety with speech is just not figuring out what to talk about. So think about your audience, think about yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.